This is the Hot 7 Nightly News.
Good evening. It is Wednesday, 26 February 2025. I am Daniela Edwin. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We are on Flow Channel 117, Kiss FM, the Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, and the Caribbean Hot 7 TV Facebook page. Not forgetting those of you using the Hot 7 plug and play antenna. Thank you so much for joining us. A long-standing safety hazard in the Bagatelle community is finally being addressed. A damaged drain, which has caused numerous accidents over the years, is now undergoing repairs. Community Development Chair Felix de Tourville, also known as Champagne, has been advocating for this project for over 2 decades. He says the response from authorities has been a long time coming.
For years, the residents of Bagatelle have raised concerns about a deep, narrow drain along Bagatelle Road. The structure posed serious risks, with vehicles, children, and even older residents falling in. Felix de Tourville, alias Champagne, chair of the local Bagatelle Development Committee, had long led efforts to push for action to improve safety of the hazardous drain, which is quite significant in length at around 40 to 50 yards from the locality near Miss Ita's shop to the hill near Miss Sheila's corner shop.
I am indeed a resident of the Bagatelle community. My name is Felix de Tourville and I go by the alias of Champagne, and most people would know me by that alias, Champagne. And I have been living all my life in the community, but there's a drain that was built a long time ago when that road was constructed or was built, and that drain was at least 3 feet in width and another 3 feet in depth. And it has caused so many problems throughout the years with our youngsters falling into that drain. We have so many vehicular traffic going down into that drain. We have our elderly as a result of the narrowness of the road.
De Tourville says past administrations ignored appeals for repairs. However, following renewed public outcry last year, the current government finally took action. The project began in October 2024 and is now about 80% complete. He added that he is pleased about the work in progress.
I have been advocating that drain has been slabbed, and I put proposals into both administrations. I've sent them videos, and it fell on deaf ears until last year when the current administration said that it was necessary that they had that place slabbed.
While he welcomes the improvements and jobs the project created for locals, De Tourville hopes for additional safety measures, such as speed bumps, to prevent reckless driving once the road is fully restored. He also calls for better collaboration between government officials and local communities to address infrastructure concerns. De Tourville remains hopeful that authorities will continue to invest in Bagatelle, not just for drainage, but for overall community development. He also envisions a public space near the drain that could serve as a hub for community events.
We had a visitor who fell into the drain right before that project got started, and members of the community had helped him out of the drain. He had a car rental, and our people were very generous because he was willing to pay our people for helping him out, and no one took $1. That was very beautiful to see. I spoke about that on the news, and maybe this time the government officials or the parliamentary rep, who is the Prime Minister, have probably heard about it, and then they came to my callings. But what was more appreciated is the fact that at least 6 of our residents from the community had gotten employment in the project.
While residents welcome the progress, they remain watchful, hoping that the authorities will finally complete the project soon. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Stevana Francis.
Is Minister Richard Frederick speaking for himself? Or does his controversial talk show have the government's backing? That question has sparked heated debate, with many calling on Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre to denounce some of Frederick's recent remarks. The Prime Minister has made it clear Frederick is responsible for his own words, and that as long as his remarks are truthful, all is fine.
Housing Minister and Castries Central MP Richard Frederick continues to stir controversy with his weekly talk show Can I Help You?, which airs on Thursdays. The program has long captured public attention due to Frederick's unfiltered and often heated commentary on national issues. However, in recent times, his remarks about individuals have been labeled as insensitive and disrespectful, prompting calls for Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre to denounce them. Ahead of Parliament on February 25, 2025, Pierre was once again urged to address the concerns. However, he deflected, stating that Frederick is old enough to answer for himself.
That the last time I saw Richard Frederick, he was a big man. I've said so many times, last time I saw him, he was a big man. He can defend himself. The same way when he was in the United Workers' Party, he said what he had to say. Why is it the same Richard Fredericks that was a candidate for the United Workers' Party?
When asked whether he would condone the minister's statements, the Prime Minister insisted that the responsibility lies solely with Frederick.
He must take responsibility. He must take responsibility for his own comments. He's a big man and he takes responsibility for his own comments.
Another lingering question was whether Frederick has officially joined the Saint Lucia Labour Party or remains an independent MP. The Prime Minister clarified that Frederick is still independent but works closely with the government.
Mr. Fredericks right now is an independent candidate, an independent member who is caucusing with our cabinet.
Inside Parliament, tensions flared when opposition leader Alan Chasney engaged in a heated exchange with Frederick over the nature of the talk show. Chasney suggested that Frederick's statements were endorsed by the Prime Minister. In response, Frederick challenged him to provide proof or withdraw the claim.
You do have an opportunity to respond in your contribution.
Yes, sir.
Proceed, member.
Thank you. Not only does he have an opportunity to respond to adhere, Mr. Speaker, but the government show that he has on Thursday night, because I have to presume, I must believe that the comments that he's making on the show, Mr. Speaker, has the full endorsement of the Prime Minister, because many times he's made reference to say that he's speaking on behalf of the Prime Minister. So I assume that he will have that opportunity on his show to be able to...
Mr. Speaker.
Member of Castry Central.
Again, the member is misleading the House. I have never, and that is the kind of looseness with which he speaks. I have never ever said I am speaking on behalf of the Prime Minister. I have never said so. I'm asking him to provide the proof or withdraw it.
Pierre also weighed in, stating that he has no issue with the minister's remarks as long as they are truthful.
I said speaking on behalf of the Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker.
Member of Castry Central.
Mr. Speaker, that's not a point of clarification. Mr. Richard Frederick is a big man.
Member, you shall not refer to members by their names.
Mr. Member Castry Central is a big man. Now, I speak for myself. Now, if the member of Castry Central speaks for me, but once he speaks the truth, it's okay.
Questions remain about the show's alignment with the government and the extent to which Frederick's statements reflect the administration's stance. For the Hot 7 TV News, Chrissy Bakey reporting.
A late-night shooting in White Rock, Rosalie has claimed the life of a 25-year-old man. No suspects have been apprehended, and officers from the Royal Saint Lucia Police Force are urging members of the public with information to come forward.
A 25-year-old man was fatally shot in White Rock, Rosalie in the early hours of Wednesday, February 26, 2025. Police responded to reports of the shooting around 12:05 a.m. and later confirmed that the victim, identified as Wendell Pebino Edward, originally from Masha Castries, had sustained multiple gunshot wounds. It is alleged that he was shot in the arm and leg. After being shot, Edward allegedly ran to a nearby house for help, where a resident assisted him by applying pressure to his wounds. He was later transported to the Owen King European Union Hospital via private means, but succumbed to his injuries. A red vehicle allegedly belonging to Edward was found parked a short distance from where he was shot. Police have taken possession of the vehicle pending further investigation. It is alleged that the vehicle bore bullet holes from a previous incident. Residents in the area remain fearful and hesitant to speak on record due to safety concerns. Meanwhile, the Royal Saint Lucia Police Force is urging anyone with information about the incident to contact the Grosley Police Station at 456-3830 or provide anonymous tips by dialing 555. For the Hot 7 TV News, Chrissy Bakey reporting.
Still in the first segment of the broadcast, the POV. Do you think that the government should enforce regulations on the type of headlights used on vehicles, given how bright some of them are? Here is your point of view.
Definitely there should be regulations because those bright lights definitely affect drivers. And I realize there's a lot of people drive with actually on high beam, and this is very dangerous.
I definitely think that there needs to be enactment on the lights on the vehicles, because as a driver myself, right, I am one who's always affected by those bright LED lights. And I can remember when I went to driving school, I remember being told or taught that whenever a vehicle is approaching you and the lights are very bright, you look to the left. But even then, when you look to the left, you still cannot see anything because the lights are so bright, and I always ask myself the question, why does government, or SLASPA, if I may say, allow those vehicles to be imported into the country with those bright LED lights, which to me affects drivers on the road?
Yes, they have to do something about it, because these headlamps are very ridiculous. It's too bright. Sometimes it making you do accidents and so on, because they will just want to change it and do whatever they want. It's too bright. They should do something about it. It's causing accidents.
Of course, I think there should be some regulation. Years ago, when I went to driving school, they taught you that when you approach another vehicle at night, your lights on. If your lights are bright, you dim your lights. Now I notice nobody does it. Well, almost nobody does it now. And there are some very, very bright lights being used. And so there must be some kind of regulation. This can cause some serious accidents.
I believe they should be regulated, especially for those vehicles. They came with a specific type of bulb. Now what the people do, they normally replace it with aftermarket stuff, and these are extremely bright. But if you buy a vehicle from the dealership with the bright lights, sometimes you cannot even replace it, or you might not even find a dimmer light to put on it. So if it comes from the dealership, I don't see a problem, I don't see an issue. There are settings in the vehicle, you could put it high, you could put it low. You can adjust it in that way. But if it comes from the dealership, just adjust it. But normally, if you have a regular light and you change it and you put an aftermarket that is very bright, then they should clamp down on these drivers.
Want to share your point of view with us on trending topics in the news? We would love to hear from you. Look out for our reporters or head over to our Facebook and Instagram pages at Caribbean Hot 7 TV. Coming up next, Alan Jasney responds to being silenced in the House of Assembly. And former National Security Minister weighs in on an M16 disappearance. The details to these stories and much more when we come back.